For over 20 years now, Tom Cruise has been making blockbusters and performing death-defying stunts that make insurance companies weep. But he's also been quietly building a reputation as Hollywood's most enthusiastic rainmaker. Let's meet the lucky few who've experienced this career-altering phenomenon firsthand. So it's 1994 and two hungry actors are waiting their turn at an audition for Jerry Maguire. One would become the star, delivering the iconic "Show me the money" line. The other, a comedian from In Living Color named Jamie Foxx, who'd have to wait another decade before sharing the screen with Tom. Fast forward to 2004, Cruise decides to go against type as a silver-haired hitman in Michael Mann's Collateral, with Foxx playing the unwitting taxi driver dragged into a night of murder. This was his chance to show Hollywood he could do more than tell jokes. And boy, did he deliver. On set, Foxx was getting a masterclass in acting from Cruise, soaking up techniques like a sponge. Lucky for him, their bromance blossomed beyond the set. These two single dads would arrange playdates with their kids while they exchanged parenting tips on the side. But Foxx won something bigger than just a friendship. That same year, he won the Academy Award for Best Actor for Ray, from TV comedian to Oscar winner, with a pit stop in Tom Cruise land along the way. Coincidence? I think not. Now let's look at our next lucky guy. Before 2006, if you mentioned J.J. Abrams, people would say, "Oh, the Lost and Alias guy." Sure, he was TV royalty, but had never directed a movie. Then Tom Cruise swooped in. When the Mission Impossible franchise needed fresh blood for its third chapter, Cruise pushed for Abrams, a director with zero feature film experience, to helm their precious $100 million baby. This wasn't a polite suggestion either. According to Abrams, Cruise did all the impossible heavy lifting to make it happen. See what I did there? Impossible? Mission Impossible? No? Moving on. Watching Cruise go to bat for him in high-level meetings, Abrams couldn't believe his luck, later commenting he couldn't believe it was me that Tom was championing. He eventually learned that that kind of thing is a normal Tuesday for Tom, because apparently Tom Cruise's average weekday involves casually launching someone's entire directing career before lunch. Funny enough, Mission Impossible 3 ended up being the lowest grossing film in the franchise. But it didn't matter. Abrams was officially a movie director now, and there was no looking back. He went on to revive Star Trek and produce the Star Wars sequel trilogy, and basically became one of Hollywood's most powerful filmmakers. Years later, Abrams even said, "I blame Tom Cruise entirely on my having a career. I will be forever grateful for everything he did." That's right, blame, because when Tom Cruise decides you're going to be successful, you don't really get a choice in the matter. Let's hop across the pond to the UK, where before 2006, Simon Pegg was the beloved geek from Spaced and Shaun of the Dead, a cult hero to comedy nerds, but hardly a household name in America. Then, Tom Cruise decided Pegg should join Mission Impossible 3 as tech wizard Benji Dunn. What started as a glorified cameo bloomed into a major supporting role across 5 films spanning almost 20 years. But more than just employment, Cruise and Pegg formed a genuine friendship that's still going strong. Need proof? In 2025, these two middle-aged men were spotted at Glastonbury Festival, leading thousands of drunk Brits in a sing-along to Oasis's Don't Look Back in Anger while waiting for Coldplay. If that's not friendship goals, I don't know what is. Next up is Emily Blunt. By 2014, she had made a name for herself with roles in The Devil Wears Prada and period dramas where she wore gorgeous costumes and spoke in perfect Queen's English. Lovely career, but not exactly screaming action star. Enter Tom Cruise, who personally championed her for Edge of Tomorrow, insisting she could transform into a sword-wielding warrior nicknamed the Full Metal Bitch. The film, which Cruise himself described as the deep end of action, was so physically demanding that Blunt injured her ribs and collarbone. But no pain, no gain, right? Her performance as Rita Vrataski opened Hollywood's eyes to Blunt's previously untapped action potential. From there, her career exploded in every direction. She sang Into the Woods, headlined thrillers like The Girl on the Train, and teamed up with her husband, John Krasinski, for the hit horror franchise A Quiet Place. She joined Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson for Jungle Cruise, Ryan Gosling for The Fall Guy, and even scored an Oscar nomination for playing Kitty Oppenheimer in Christopher Nolan's Oppenheimer. And all after Cruise decided she had what it takes to kick alien butt. Now let's talk about Rebecca Ferguson, and if this were 2015, you wouldn't have had the slightest idea who she is. The Swedish actress had done some BBC period drama work and had a small role in Hercules, but was hardly on Hollywood's radar. Then Tom Cruise saw something special in her and cast her as the mysterious Ilsa Faust in Mission Impossible: Rogue Nation. The role demanded Ferguson to transform into a disavowed spy who could go toe-to-toe with Cruise's Ethan Hunt, both physically and in the charisma department. No small feat. But Ferguson met the challenge and stole scenes left and right. After this, Ferguson's career hit the nitrous button. She appeared alongside Meryl Streep in Florence Foster Jenkins, sang with Hugh Jackman in The Greatest Showman, fought ghosts in Dr. Sleep, and landed the coveted role of Lady Jessica in Denis Villeneuve's epic Dune and its sequel. She even secured her own leading role in the Apple TV Plus series Silo. Not too shabby for someone who was virtually unknown to American audiences just a few years earlier. Ferguson continued her Mission Impossible journey through Fallout and Dead Reckoning Part 1 before announcing her departure from the franchise. She cited wanting roles with more active engagement during production, which is a polite way of saying, "I've learned all I can from the Tom Cruise School of Stardom and it's time to graduate." The student has become the master. Fast forward to 2022 when Tom Cruise decided to dust off his aviators for Top Gun Maverick, the sequel nobody knew they needed until it made $1.5 billion worldwide. For his return to the naval aviation world, Cruise brought along two rising stars, Miles Teller and Glenn Powell, giving them front row seats on the career rocket ship. Teller landed the emotionally charged role of Rooster, son of Maverick's late best friend Goose. At first he was hesitant about joining such a high-profile sequel, probably worried about being overshadowed by Cruise's teeth and volleyball scenes. But Tom personally convinced him he was perfect for the part. And, well, when Tom Cruise calls to say you're perfect for something, you listen. Powell's journey was a bit more complicated. He originally auditioned for Rooster but lost to Teller. But Cruise saw something in Powell and encouraged him to take the role of cocky pilot Hangman instead. Powell initially thought the character was too one-dimensional, but Cruise promised him more creative input. Again, when Tom Cruise promises you something, you believe him, even if that something is making you the second most charming pilot in a movie. Both actors got the full Tom Cruise boot camp experience, an intense training program that prepared them for actual flying sequences, because green screens are for wimps, according to the Cruise filmmaking philosophy. This shared bonding experience, created a connection between Cruise and his young co-stars that went beyond just work colleagues. For Teller, who'd already made his mark in films like Whiplash, the Top Gun effect meant graduating to true A-list status. Post-Maverick, he landed the lead in Apple TV Plus's The Gorge, which became the platform's biggest movie launch ever. Powell, on the other hand, headlined the acclaimed war film Devotion, co-wrote and starred in Hitman, romanced Sydney Sweeney in Anyone But You, and chased tornadoes in Twisters. He's now being positioned as Hollywood's next big leading man, essentially the next Tom Cruise. But not everyone in Tom's orbit is on their way up. Some are Hollywood veterans themselves. Val Kilmer's story shows us a different side of the Cruise effect, loyalty that spans decades. These two first met back in 1985 on the original Top Gun set, playing rival pilots Maverick and Iceman. Despite their characters' tension, they formed a friendship that would last for nearly 40 years. When the time came to create Top Gun Maverick, Kilmer's health had declined significantly due to his battle with throat cancer. Many directors might have written the character out or recast, but not with Tom Cruise involved. He insisted that Kilmer reprise his role as Iceman, now an admiral, for what would become one of the most emotional scenes in the film, with Iceman communicating partly through text before sharing a brief, difficult verbal exchange and embrace with Maverick. And with that, Cruise gave Kilmer a dignified and touching final chapter in his filmography before his passing in April 2025. That's right, the controversial Scientologist has a big heart. And that's why, in an industry built on who you know, there's no better friend to have than Tom Cruise, the ultimate career catalyst. If you enjoyed this deep dive into Hollywood's most powerful career accelerator, hit that like button, drop your thoughts in the comments below, and subscribe to our channel for more entertainment insights.